Welcome to SN Studios, where we bring you the most shocking, untold, and unbelievable real-life crime stories from across the UK and beyond. Today's case isn't just about drugs, deception, or international smuggling. It's about betrayal from the inside. A mother who turned her own children into drug mules for one of the most shocking cocaine smuggling operations uncovered in recent years. This is the story of Farzana Kauza, a 54-year-old woman from Bradford who lived an ordinary-looking life until investigators uncovered her double life as the head of a transnational crime group smuggling cocaine into the UK. On the surface, Farzana Kauza appeared to be just another mum from Manningham, Bradford. She blended in with the local community, showed no outward signs of criminal activity, and presented herself as a concerned parent. But behind the scenes, she was masterminding a high-stakes drug importation operation, orchestrating flights, routes, couriers, and using her own children as tools of her trade. In collaboration with an unnamed figure known only as Uncle, believed to be operating out of Pakistan, Kauza was smuggling millions of pounds worth of high-purity cocaine from Cancun, Mexico, into the UK. Between August and November 2024, Kauza's organisation executed at least 5 successful drug runs through Birmingham Airport. The method? Surprisingly simple, yet shockingly effective. Family members, including 2 teenagers, would book short trips to Amsterdam or Dublin, 1 or 2 nights max. And crucially, they never brought luggage. Why? Because the bags they needed were already waiting. They timed their return flights to coincide with flights from Cancun, Mexico, a route exploited using a corrupt insider who placed suitcases filled with cocaine onto the aircraft without a passenger. Upon landing, Kauza's children would walk past their actual flight's baggage carousel and head straight to the Cancun carousel. They'd already received WhatsApp photos of the exact suitcases they needed to pick up. Once they grabbed the bags full of drugs, up to 180 kilos in total, they walked through customs as if they were returning from a weekend break. No suspicion, no checks, just confidence. Then the drugs were either passed to a waiting courier from another organised crime group or taken back to Kauza's home on Waterlily Road, where the operation continued. But no criminal enterprise lasts forever. On November 11th, 2024, the group was finally exposed as 6 defendants waited outside Birmingham Airport's arrivals area. National Crime Agency officers moved in. The suspects had with them 6 suitcases, all loaded with high-purity cocaine. The total haul? A staggering 180 kilograms, with a street value of over £14 million. Farzana Kauza was arrested at the scene. She claimed she was there just to collect her children. In truth, she was the puppet master behind one of the UK's boldest airport drug operations in recent years. This wasn't just any crime ring. It was a family-run cartel. Farzana Kauza recruited 5 of her own children, a daughter-in-law, and coordinated with outside couriers to scale the operation. Among the convicted, Farzana Kauza, 54, the boss. Jailed for 13 years and 4 months. Safa Noor, 19, Kauza's daughter. Jailed for 7 years and 2 months. Mohammed Amir Shafak, 28, son. Jailed for 8 years and 9 months. Umair Mohammed, 22, son. Jailed for 8 years and 1 month. Jonaid Shafak, 33, son. Jailed for 10 years and 9 months. Khalid Abdul Kawi, 36, the only non-family member. A courier from Dudley. Jailed for 10 years and 9 months. Amza Shafak, 18, another son, has yet to be sentenced. Sarah Hussain, 27, daughter-in-law and wife of Mohammed Shafak, was given a 2-year suspended sentence. A mother had not only corrupted herself, she enlisted and endangered her entire bloodline in the name of profit. This case shocked investigators not only due to the scale of the smuggling, but because of how calculated, repeated, and familial the operation was. Causa wasn't some pawn or minor player. She ran the UK side of a multi-million-pound drug empire. If the first story showed how far a family would go to smuggle drugs through an airport, our next case reveals a different kind of smuggling. One that took place not through luggage, but through legitimate postal services. Brazen, organised, global. This is the story of a criminal network that sent £800,000 worth of cannabis across the Atlantic, disguised as sportswear. From California's sunny dispensaries to quiet streets in Yorkshire, this was no small-time operation. It was a calculated, sustained, and surprisingly bold scheme. A network of 10 men, operating across Leeds, Selby, Garforth, and beyond, who thought they could outsmart UK customs by abusing one of the most trusted systems in the world, the Postal Service. Using legitimate shipping and delivery companies, the gang mailed over 260 parcels from the United States into the UK. And inside those neatly packed boxes, high-grade cannabis, carefully selected, bought in bulk, and disguised with falsified customs declarations, claiming the contents were nothing more than sportswear. But this wasn't a one-person scam. This was a well-oiled machine. The gang had members fly out to California to source and purchase the cannabis firsthand. They visited US post offices themselves, often mailing the drugs from public branches, using legitimate parcel tracking apps to monitor every movement. From the moment the packages were posted in the US to when they arrived in Yorkshire, they tracked them with the same tools you'd use to track a pair of trainers. And once they arrived in the UK, the network had designated addresses to receive the drugs, often using gang members' own homes. The parcels would be signed for and collected, often without raising a single eyebrow. They were able to do this again and again for months, between November 2017 and June 2018, without getting caught. Until finally, the pattern gave them away. An investigation by the Yorkshire and Humber Regional Organised Crime Unit, YHROCU, began to uncover the scale of what was going on. More than 260 drug parcels had been shipped across the Atlantic. The estimated street value, £800,000, all hidden inside innocent-looking boxes. And what made this conspiracy so chilling wasn't just the amount of cannabis or the number of packages. It was the abuse of trust, using the same delivery systems that families, businesses, and communities rely on daily. This wasn't back-alley dealing. This was corporate-style drug trafficking, conducted with a business-like approach and a criminal mindset. After a thorough investigation and court proceedings, 10 men were sentenced at Leeds Crown Court on a Thursday that brought justice and consequences. Among them, Carl Callahan, 41, of Hare Hills, Leeds, described as a leading figure in the conspiracy, was sentenced to 3 years and 10 months in prison. Dane Martin, 35, already in HMP Nottingham, received 3 years and 7 months. Richard Sykes, 35, of Osthorpe, Leeds, who also admitted to possessing cocaine, got 2 years and 5 months. John Paul Sharp, 36, of Garforth, Leeds, 2 years and 5 months. Joseph Morton, 33, also of Garforth, admitted to possessing criminal cash. He received a suspended sentence of 1 year and 11 months, along with 250 hours of unpaid work and 30 rehabilitation activity days. Callum Kitchen, 31, of Sherburn in Elmet, also possessed cocaine. He received 18 months, suspended for 2 years, with 150 hours of unpaid work. Ryan Armitage, 34, of Selby, 18 months suspended and 150 hours of unpaid work. James Laycock, 38, of Batley, 21 months suspended with 200 hours of unpaid work. And then there were the 2 men who denied the charges but were found guilty after trial. Jordan Liliu, 34, of Selby, sentenced to a 4-month nighttime curfew and 20 rehabilitation activity days. Daniel K., 36, of Kippax, Leeds, given 300 hours of unpaid work. While not all faced prison time, the sentences showed that even using respectable systems for crime has real-world consequences. This wasn't a story of violent gangs, shootouts, or high-speed chases. It was a story of modern-day trafficking, powered by apps, mail tracking, and the misuse of global infrastructure. What makes it chilling is the simplicity. They didn't smuggle drugs through airports or ports. They used post offices and counted on no one asking questions. But in the end, crime, even when cleverly disguised, leaves a paper trail. And for these men, the trail led to court. This has been another chilling dive into the criminal underworld, brought to you by SN Studios. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button and leave a comment below.